Guys, if you want to get booked in Ibiza, you gotta be in Ibiza. Words that our resident DJ, Ryan McDermott, lives by. And today, we're gonna find out why. Guys, we are super excited about this one to get started. This is the first one of the season for 2024, 30th anniversary season. Welcome back to Mambo Tales, man. And we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it any other way but to start with the one and only Ryan McDermott, taking you guys on a journey of the music of the past, present, and the future. Welcome back to Café Mambo Tales. Ryan, thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, man. Thanks for having us. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, man. So we actually haven't had you on Mambo Tales since the first season. I wanted to ask you, just to start, how has it been, this 30th anniversary season here at Café Mambo for you?
Well, this summer especially has been extremely busy for me. It's been my busiest summer.
Really?
Yes. I've been at Mambo 5 nights of the week, which has seemed to just steadily. I've been adding one night or one extra day time to my weekly schedule as the summers have went on. Mm-hmm. And I also do another hotel at Mambo one called Las Mimosas in the daytime as a separate thing. So I've been doing 5 days a week there and then split shifts straight to Mambo. But the 30th anniversary aspect of it has been incredible to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, well, you guys know that we've had some extremely special guests come down to play to represent the history of Mambo throughout the years. And it's certainly been a great celebration of the past, the present, and the future of what's to come. And here's to another 30 years, especially. You know what I mean? It's been great.
So, how many years has it been for you now, Ryan? I want to say I'm not gonna say the wrong number, so I'll let you tell me.
I've been coming to 2016 was my first year, so this would be my 8th summer.
Woo!
But there's a little bit of a miss when the nasty COVID came about. But I've been a resident since 2017, so 7 years. I think that makes an official resident in Mambo. I was in my first summer. I was lucky to play 3 times, but I've been a resident since 2017. And like I say, the difference was in my first summer, I think I had one night a week in Mambo.
1 to 5.
1 to 5, man. It's moving up.
I want to go back a little bit and talk about that now that we're talking about a little bit more of your past. Ask you your origins. What kind of got you into music? Like, where did that start for you? And basically, how did it get you here?
Well, it would have definitely been around about the age of starting to go out more.
Yeah.
So, like, around obviously just out drinking with my friends and stuff. And it's predominantly guitar-based music.
Really?
So bands, I'm still into it. I don't listen to house music.
That was going to be one of my questions later. Like, what do you listen to? You leave, but go on.
Well, my favourite band is Oasis.
Okay.
But anything like indie music. But my music taste is across the very broad. I listen to all sorts. But just because I play a lot of it, it's not really how I like to relax by listening to more what I play when I'm at work. But
fair enough.
It was more. Well, the year, I'm pretty good with years, must have been about 2005, and it would have been Coldplay, Speed of Sound. There was more stuff on the radio. Yeah. I remember, I wasn't really I never really started buying CDs, and there wasn't like many MP3. I'm that old. There wasn't many MP3 players or anything like that then. But predominantly guitar-based music, and then when it came to the time to come on our first lads holiday. I think about 14 of us decided.
Really?
2009 Ibiza was which I think I spoke about on the last one, but was the place to come, was the place to be, and that on that holidays. But it was a different. It was more like Tiesto, Swedish House Mafia, David Guetta. More stuff that was accessible on the radio.
Right.
So not predominantly what some people might call house music now. For anybody shoots us.
No.
But like stuff that's more like EDM, and I remember going to Tiesto with Privilege, and the next summer we went to Swedish House Mafia at Pasha, which is crazy because only today I was listening to some. They came on, and I thought, they were only playing yesterday or those nights. So it's amazing to see that was listening to that for more like.
You're talking. What you said? That was 2000. What did you say? 9?
That was 2010.
2010.
When they had a major song called "Worn Out" at the time, which the nostalgia for me is like that song is. It's nothing I would play now. Not that it's a bad song. It's just not my style now.
Yeah.
But then round about that time, and that kind of music, David Guetta, and when that kind of explosion of whatever that was at the EDM kind of thing, it was a lot. I can only really think of David Guetta and Swedish House Mafia, but there would have been a lot more different kind of artists who were playing that kind of style. Like,
right.
I'm not going to think of them, but yeah.
Okay.
So that's what predominantly got us into dance music, which then led us to Ibiza, and then Ibiza. Went to Eden, and then you knew the name Pete Tong from the radio, but I didn't really know what he played, and went to see his nightclub, which was called Wonderland. I remember being there and enjoying the music, but not knowing any of it, but kind of not knowing my friends weren't, and it was like it's very underground.
Yeah.
And I think like and Judge Jules was the next night, and I was just kind of like captivated by it, but I just wanted to know more. I don't think we did Mambo. Because we were
on the first trip.
We didn't know anything about it, so we didn't even like we didn't look into it. We knew it was just like Ibiza is what we heard. I think maybe older brothers had said we'll go and do it or something like that. So we said right, we'll do Ibiza, and we loved it. And then the next summer is when we started finding out the bits and bobs, and then and from those summers is when I started getting more into wanting to learn how to DJ. So
you had never done it before that?
No, never.
Really?
Never thought about it, and I hadn't even going home from those holidays. It wasn't like right, that's it. I didn't have that. A lot of people have had that moment where they're like, this is it. But it was speaking to an actual DJ who was playing there's still a brand out there called Head Candy, but there was a guy who I met from where I'm from, and he was playing for that brand, and he was travelling up and down. So I went with him, and seeing somebody work these bars up close and personal, and seeing that reaction, that was when I was like, okay, this is something that I could get on board with, and that kind of music he was playing was Head Candy was good because it was a bit of it was going between the two, so you would have your David Guetta music in the mix, but then you would also have something a bit more underground-ish to a degree. So Head Candy was a good a kind of good
like a fair ground, like a middle ground or something.
Gateway into then like getting a compilation with songs you knew on, and then you'd start hearing, instead of just buying a David Guetta's album, predominantly David Guetta, then you would find that and hear the other one. So going from there, that's what then got us on the journey of like thinking, right, I'll buy my own decks, and I'll see if I can start teaching myself and obviously moving forward into the stage.
So from that going forward, you have your own decks. You're into the music. How did you get yourself from that to Café Mambo?
Well, first decks my friend used to live close by, and he could always DJ. So he would come down and we'd just spend our nights just learning. I mean, it must have been a good 6-7 months of learning how to mixing whatever it was. Probably the same songs for 6 months, just trying to beat match and get everything, trying to get our heads around it. And then we got our first gig, and then just by chance, quite similar to how I did get in here by chance, and luck's been on my side in a lot of things that I've done. I was able to get a gig in a bar where I'm from.
Yeah.
And the guy who owned the bar is still one of my closest friends, but this bar was just, his mentality was, which wasn't the mentality then in Sunderland, was as long as it's good house music, just play it. And it was a very different style to what I would play now, but it was just a great bar. So I was in there for close to 5 years, every Saturday, and it was just more of it was a hobby. I was loving it, but it wasn't everything that I didn't. If you're doing something like that on a Saturday night and that's it, the thought of even coming to Ibiza and thinking, right, it didn't even enter me thoughts. And I had a few holidays in between, and each time I'd come here, and then we even. The guy, Walter he's called, he booked Andy Baxter and Jason to come to the bar. So from those points, I was like, right, who's these guys? And that's where my love of actually Mambo and all the history of it came from, because then I'd started studying Jason and watching him do what I thought I was doing, but then clearly wasn't doing that at the time. Was like, I was just stood next to him and Andy, and two very unbelievable, and they still are, and two unbelievable DJs, but two extremely different styles.
So did they kind of take you in a little bit, or would you say? Or
no,
something?
not that, because they just come, did the gig. I mean, not by any means. They spoke to us. They were like as great as they are, but obviously they came, done their set, and had their night, and then left. They went straight back to Ibiza. But this was 2012.
Oh, okay.
So like years. But from then, I obviously got to know them, and I would follow them. I would listen to Andy. Then went on to do his Essential mix.
Yeah.
And then Jason was just being Jason, still rocking space until it shut, and I would just be listening as much as I can, any mix they put up. And back then, there used to be a few, like what you guys do now, the live stream mixes from when I'd be listening to them, and like even then just thinking like, okay, I didn't realise they played that music at Sunset or Luther Vandross. I didn't have any
like
idea.
You understood, you started to see a structure or a system of some sort.
It's a certain thing of, okay, it's not all about just house music constantly. There is a different side, which I think some people have the mindset that that's what a Ibiza is, when there's a very relaxed and chilled outside to the night, especially at Mambo as well. So regarding Lola's the bar, I was in there and I knew the owner did eventually want to sell it, and that was a moment where I just thought, right, what am I doing? Because I'd kind of not limited myself, but quite loyal to the bar, so I didn't DJ anywhere else. I might have done a couple of odd gigs, but that was where I was just quite comfortable, and I wasn't really a very a confident DJ to think, okay, I've got the confidence now to walk into the bar. But I thought, right, well, if the worst thing I would do, I'd saved a little bit of money, so I thought I can only go and give it a shot. Yeah. And I thought, because I believe I'm okay at it, so why not? That was the worst thing that can happen is I just get a flight home. So in Christmas of 2015, that's when I said, right, I'm going to do it, save a lot more money, get what I can, sort the place out, came over, and then how Mambo came about was I used to go and sit down at Savannah, where Mambo used to have Savannah,
right
which
there,
was 2
guys,
doors down.
just in case you're wondering.
And I was there. I used to just go around, get me breakfast most mornings, and I'd be listening to people like Dr. Feelgood, still here, daytime
Shout
shifts.
out Dr. Feelgood.
And I think Loeka.
Yeah, of course.
Chloe used to play there.
So she used to play at Savannah.
She used to play at Savannah a lot. Okay. And there was others which I could probably list. I'm not sure if they're still on the island. Obviously, there's DJs come and go. But I was there to the point the manager said, "You're not on holiday after about the third week," and I said, "No, I'm coming." And I explained what I was trying to do. And she was called Jess, and just by Jess's kind nature, she said, "Okay, well, if I'll come and do a day shift. You've listened enough. Come and do one." So I done maybe 4 or 5 over the course of 2 months, and then as the luck would have it, Dr. Feelgood was meant to do a sunset session. He couldn't, so he said, "Can you swap? Can we swap with somebody?" And again, Jess taking the gamble, she went, "Right, okay, I think because again, I will go down on a night and listen." Yeah. She went, I'll take the gamble on you, don't let us down, come and do a sunset set. And
they had you do a sunset set for your first one, just like cold.
After
the first couple you were
after the first couple of daytime sets. Maybe the 3rd or 4th month of the summer. I got you, okay. I had my first sunset at Savannah, and then that led to maybe like 3 or 4 more, because obviously she had her DJs booked in, so she was trying her best to get us in as much as she can, which I appreciated. Yeah. And then also, as that was happening, Space was still open. And I went there on a Sundays at Space, and a DJ called Dolly was playing in the smallest room in Space. And I got talking to who turned out to be his partner at the time. Yeah. So at the end of his set, started speaking to him, and I formed quite a good relationship, which I still have a good relationship with him and his wife now, Sheena. And he invited me down to play. He had his Dolly and Friends night at Mambo, and I think they might have had 3 or 4 over the course of that summer. And he again just went, "Oh, do you want to play half an hour at Mambo?" So casual to him. But so I was like, right, okay, I'll jump with a straight face, right? Oh yeah, sure, yeah. I'll jump at that chance to do that. And I mean, I thought, right, there's 10 house classics, all the songs that remind me of Ibiza. Yeah. I just put on my USB and I thought, I'm just going to play these. Yeah. I can't go wrong. They're just like Kings of Tomorrow finally, and Cure in the Core. I thought, right, I'm just going to play these. But whatever I was doing, I must have just, I'm loving life as I always do now. And it was Javier actually come over, and he said, "Yeah, you come and speak to me after." And I spoke to him, and he said he'd like for me to come and play again. And just as it works out, it happened that I did play again through Dawley, and then I made a decision to come over very early in April the following year, only for the weekend, but purely to find Javier.
Yeah. Really, just to go find him.
Which he won't remember.
Oh, yeah?
But it was just, I knew Mint was going to be open, and I walked past and he's there reading the paper, and I just pulled the paper down and says, am I on? and he went, oh yes, yeah, and then that was it. So from then on, I thought I've got nothing to lose. So he went, right, okay, and then from then on, we started speaking.
That has to be one of the best stories ever. So you literally made the trip down here just to find him.
I just came
right up to him.
I tried to speak to him until I was 16, and you know Javi, everyone knows Javi, so I tried to get 5 minutes with him, and then I was standing there trying to like say, hey, am I on? I didn't really feel comfortable, but I thought, you know what it is, I'm just going to go and give it a shot, because I'm still going to go. I was still coming, but I thought if I go early, if I go when the summer's kicking off, I've got no chance. Yeah. So I'll see if I can go. And there he was, early in the day, just having a coffee. And obviously, I see that I didn't rip the paper down. But
that's what we're going to go with, though. That's where we're going to start the episode. That's really hot.
So from that, sat with him and had a big chat and said, I'm coming back. I'm here for the summer. And then from then on, he did what he did, and I think I might have said I had one. I might have had two. I think I did Thursdays and a Monday, and maybe a little bit here and there in the daytime. But also from then, I was in Savannah quite a lot. So as the years went on, I would do more Mambo.
Yeah, so you started to see the proportions change a little bit.
So I was doing more, and then that's as the years have progressed, I've made more Mambo, and then obviously elsewhere on the island. But that's how the Mambo. That is literally. I wish.
Amazing.
I've had a few people ask how'd you get into Mambo? I wish I had the thing, but But a friend of mine, I watched an interview recently, and he said you can't plan for opportunities.
Yeah.
But the only thing I did do was when I see it back to listen to Jason and Andy's sunset mixes, I already had. They might not have been the best sunset sets in the world then, but I already had an idea.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people get mixed up and confused with what the sunset set actually means. So at least I had the correct music, whether I was doing it right or timing it right or whatever at that time. I knew I'd collected enough music, so when Javier, and what he did do, because he's a naughty boy, Javier, he said, right, you can do the opening, the soft opening party all night.
What?
And then everyone came and sat down in front of us. So I think Christy and Alan. So I did my research.
Put you under the pressure cooker.
I did my research and found out one of his favourite songs. So I thought, right. So then I got the little little blue tick for that one. But there's been a lot of in that summer. There was a lot of like ups and downs because I'm still learning and trying my best. But that was it. I had an opportunity and I ran with it. But I'd also kind of, if you wanted to do that, you need to collect that music beforehand, because if Javier said on the Tuesday, I think it was the Tuesday and it was the Thursday, and if he said, oh, you're doing the sunset, and I had no music, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be here now.
Gotta be prepared, people. Be prepared. Okay, so let's fast forward. You are now here for quite a few years, and I mean, my personal opinion, from what I've seen, I've been covering this for 3 years now. You're like, when you think of Café Mambo Sunsets, you're thinking of Jason Bai, and you're thinking of Ryan McDermott. Like, how does that make you feel at this point? I mean, I know maybe you're thinking before, 2009, you're just coming here for the guys' trip. You're now like synonymous with Café Mambo Sunsets. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, personally, really, really proud, because one thing I'd said I was trying to explain to my dad and my parents, who don't really understand any of it. They love it when they come, but I just said, look, if one person could think of me like I think of Jason, then that's a job done. So I mean, but that is also, that's a credit to you guys as well for being the way you are, and me like being able to like project myself a bit, because I have a lot of people coming and they're grabbing us when I'm here, and obviously because they say, oh, we're watching you on the stories, to know but also not know, because obviously there's that many people down here that you never get to meet or see or anything like that. You're hopefully creating a moment for their holidays, or you never know, you never know people's scenarios, once in a lifetime to get here, then it really is it means a great deal to us, especially how much I've worked on it still continue to hopefully work on it and still do a good, and hopefully doing a good job with it. But
definitely doing a good job.
It does mean a great deal, because this moment, I know how much it means I know how much it meant to us and my friends, and it still means to me mates when they see people coming over and to come and watch it, and you see people. I've had people getting engaged and going to speak to me, can you play this song before, and trying to time things and right, and then people just getting on one knee like unannounced or whatever. It's a special moment, and when it is a special one, there's nowhere better to be than in that booth and trying to certainly not mess or play with people's emotions, but you're trying to tease something out of them. And when people are sort of thanking you for making them cry because you've brought up a core memory or something, like as a random example, only I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, the last 2 songs I played was their first wedding song, and then the soundtrack to the first movie of the first date that they'd seen. And then, so they were both shouting at each other saying, you've told him to play it, and I was just like, I haven't. But them moments you couldn't write.
Yeah, you can't write them.
But to be known as, if you're going to Mambo, you're going to see it's Bizey or Baxter for me, or now Ryan. That really means it means the world to me. 100%.
That's incredible. So last 2 questions. Can you describe to us your style? What is your style? You had mentioned a little bit before about your background, where you came up with bands and stuff, but what you were listening to before. What is your style? And can you kind of tell us a little bit more about talk to us a little bit about how would you define your style of music, your sound?
I couldn't really, because I've only had, this is crazy, I've only had 2, with Savannah, like 3 residencies. And each one has been whatever suited the night.
Okay.
So I've never been specific to one sound.
Okay.
But I quite like that. But if I had to pick one sound and I could play a night which was going to be the one, disco is my thing. Like I love like uplifting and like stuff that's going to just hands in the air kind of feel. It's like feel good kind of house without being cheesy feel good. But classics here, just stuff like piano, stuff that's going to happy music, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I also love the underground, the deep house stuff, stuff that you're normally not going to hear us play here, but stuff that I don't normally get to play much anyway. But because of venues like Mambo and Savannah and the bar I used to play in at home, as an example, on a Friday night you're playing after James Hype or Medusa, that's a different style of Flower Power.
Exactly.
So you can't just come in and say, right, but this is I'm not here. People aren't here for me essentially. You can't just. I can only play to who's dance. You're trying to represent. You're representing the bar, but you're trying to. You're there to make the bar keep moving as well. You know what I mean? In whatever's happening with the night, the guests. It's all works in. But I don't have one particular. I don't think I've got a particular sound, you know what I mean? And, but apart from happy, I like to see happy music, stuff that's going to just make people enjoy themselves is the best I can kind of come up with there on the spot.
My final question is going to be just out of curiosity for me, like, have you ever gotten into like producing music or making your own stuff, or is there anything you would potentially be considering getting into in the future if you have?
It's something I've thought about. I've done nothing about it, so that's just me being completely lazy. But it's a hard one because I know a lot of producers now.
Yeah.
I know a lot of producers who are still in the bedrooms and they're slogging and slogging and slogging. But I've just happened to went the other way where I'm very fortunate that I do have a lot of work, whether it's bars, clubs, when I'm home or when I'm here. I'm just working and working. So the time for me has always been took up. But I have been thinking recently, do I maybe slow down in the winter a little bit with the work, with the weekend work, and maybe just try and get it. I would love to, because that's obviously a major.
So something you would really like to do, you think?
Yeah, or even if it's more just like edits of stuff. It's like creating a little personal edit of it, because I think that's how a lot of producers get into it. They just to learn the basics, or I'll take a track and switch it instead of creating something original. But of course, but again, one time. But I'm only saying that because I know number 2 is laziness, and you should be laziness as number 1 essentially. Like that is it. I've just been pure lazy in the winter, but yeah, of course, mate. That is. I think everybody, if if you're able to be as fortunate as I am at the level I'm at, whatever that level may be, then 100% I should have got into it. So it is 100% something I'm looking at.
I would love, Ryan, personally, I would love to see that. That would be like.
But it also relates back to this, what Sally, I don't know what kind of music I would make.
I mean, but I think we'd all love to see what you come up with, though. So but
hopefully we'll find out.
Okay. My last final question. This is off. I thought about it while we were talking.
Okay.
Because it's just something for me, because I'm trying to learn every day about this world we're in. You know, this musical world we're in. Could you give me a really quick definition for you of the difference of EDM and house? How would you quickly define that to someone that doesn't listen to this type of music and wants to get introduced to it?
I think EDM is more like house music is more for the house music's more related to like dances and clubs, in my opinion. And EDM, even though it will be in the clubs, it's more of like concert. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's more I'm going to be asking a lot of DJs this, because for me it's very interesting. From what I've read about it, I've been reading a lot about it. It seems like EDM seems to be, it technically branches everything, and how all of them are underneath it. But I would like to know But if you think of EDM music, even though it might take like and branch everything, but EDM is more like hands in your hair, jumping. You've got a light show, Ushuaia kind of style, or Tomorrowland, and you wouldn't really place. You wouldn't see Bizey on a big stage. You know what I'm trying to say. That's just
I understand.
House music is more underground, real as we try and keep it. You know, while EDM is more your commercial side of it, more for the radio kind of stuff.
I got you.
I don't want to be negative in any
No,
kind
listen,
of, you know
I know it's a touchy, but I'm going to ask a lot of DJs this season, because I'm really interested to know. But anyways, that was it for this episode, guys. We're about to go here and enjoy the sunset. What are we? We're maybe like 20, 30 minutes out from another beautiful sunset here at Café Mambo. This was Mambo Tales with Ryan McDermott. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Welcome, my boss. And I'll see you guys at Café Mambo.